Okay, we are back in Sunrider 4. Where we last left off, we beat Cosette. We actually got to shoot the Calamity this time and make it fairly miserable. But we need to move into Chapter 2. Captain's Log. It's been 24 hours since we destroyed the Pact base in orbit around Ryuvia Prime. As expected, there's no sign of any Pact retaliation on the planet. Either the base was too remote for Fontana to care about, or they don't want to deal with the political fallout of conquering Ryuvia Prime for the second time. I've just barely started settling into my new command. Everything has changed from before, and without Ava to organize the ship, I am left in an overwhelming sense of confusion. I've missed so much in the past 6 years. Where is everyone now? What has happened while I was trapped on Tidaria? I have so many questions, but with so many more pressing issues, I haven't had the time to get answers. Ava, I've got to find her again. The ship needs her right now, more than anyone else. End log. Been so busy trying to figure out how to captain the ship that I couldn't ask Asaga anything about what happened while I was gone. Maybe I can find her in the mess hall. So, pull up the hearts. Self-proclaimed Char. I don't know why it's self-proclaimed since she does have the skill. Lynn. Sola. Cosette, of course. Sworn enemy, Terror of the Stars. Ikari. Claude. And, of course, Ava. So, our 6 mechs will be these, I guess. I like how she's drooling up there. But the thing is, we don't have Kriska down here, do we?
Kancho?
Getting there, but more importantly, I've got so many questions. I bet. What do you want to know? How can we contact the commander? I feel like I'm sitting in the bridge of my boxes without her. Well, this is the flagship of Ryuvia Prime, isn't it? Like I said, the commander's the acting Prime Minister of Sarah now. We can just ring her up on the diplomatic channel. Heck, could have done that earlier right from your office. Oh, right. Didn't think it'd be that easy. I've checked the holonet now that I'm out of Pact's firewall, and sure enough, Ava's now the acting Prime Minister of Sarah, installed by Venizar Fontana himself. But why would he appoint an arch-nemesis as the Prime Minister? Ava would never become his puppet. Tell me more about the situation on Sarah. Yeah, I think I heard the Chancellor say something about Sarah in a briefing, but I was kind of half asleep to tell you the truth. Fontana's installed the commander, now a renowned figure in the Saran liberation movement, to give the upcoming election the appearance of legitimacy. The acting Prime Minister is there only until the election, so it's not like she has any actual power, though. Still, with someone like the commander overseeing the election, people will accept the result whichever way it turns out. Sarah's Prime Minister election is the first time that a neutral rim world will hold an election after Fontana's announcement. If a candidate in support of Joint Pact wins, then it's all but certain the other neutral rim worlds will follow in line. But just 7 years ago, Pact reduced Sarah's city into a smoldering crater. We'd string up anyone who dares run for Pact, much less drop off our ballots for them. Well, the thing is, the other guy's running under a pro-Solar Alliance platform, and the Alliance's reputation is basically garbage after that whole Tactical Paradox core business. Anyways, what's her name? The lady who's running in support of joining Pact? She's actually doing surprisingly well in the opinion polls right now. Mirage Foster, I think that's her name. Right now, she's telling everyone that by joining Pact there will be peace and equality for everyone or some nonsense. What? So you mean the Sarans are supporting Pact? Too bad your planet doesn't have a shard to protect the people from such shenanigans, eh, Captain? A candidate for the Saran Prime Ministership running on a pro-Pact banner, and actually winning in the opinion polls. I must have fallen into a mining pit back in Tidaria and be delirious. I'm probably about to wake up any minute now.
Kancho?
You feeling alright, Captain? They vaporized over 1 million innocents. Entire families were annihilated. Our cultural sites, the places where we grew up.
Gomen, Kancho.
Venizar Fontana has blamed the prototypes for all that, Captain. It's easy to shift the blame to a race of genetically engineered mutants. Prototypes are so despised that even Lynn needs protection, or else there'd be no telling what'll happen to her. Right now, Fontana's playing the role of the hero who leads humanity against the prototype monsters and the Solar Alliance pigmen. He's practically got the whole galaxy dancing on his palms. All the more reason we need the commander back on the ship. The only way I'll be able to find out what's happening on Sarah for sure is to find Ava. I hope she's still alright out there. We need to contact the commander right away.
Yatta!
You got it. Let's head to the bridge right now and get this taken care of. Here's the comm station right here. I had a nice little chat with the commanders a few weeks ago while we were testing the Moray's electronics, so everything's already been set up. Just press these buttons, bypass the biometric lock, and voila, it patches through. To think Ava was already so nearby. So worried I might have to fly out the ship by myself. Here, I've got her on the line.
Copy. リュービア1。私はクレセンティア首相です。
Ava, it's me, Kato.
これは一体何ですか?
I'm on board the Ryuvian flagship along with Osaga and Sola. Listen, there's been a big development. It's hard to believe, but...
申し訳ございませんが、おっしゃっていることの意味が理解できません。そして、忠告します。外交用通信の乱用は犯罪です。当周波数帯は常に公安局によって監視されています。以上。
Subtle you are not.
なんじゃこりゃ。
She got the channel. What the hell? I know she's a stick in the mud, but that was awfully cold even for her. No, Ava wasn't acting like herself. She was trying to tell me something. The diplomatic channels to Sarah have been bugged by Pact. I see. That does make perfect sense now that you mention it. I was so eager to talk to Ava that I lost my brain in the process. Of course, Pact would have bugged Ava's office. There's no way they let the Prime Minister of the Sarah something hold any sort of real power. Looks like trying to reach Ava is going to be harder than expected. We're going to need a security expert to figure out a way to scramble our transmission.
艦長?
And where are we going to find a crazy person like that? Luckily, I know just the person. Let's check the sickbay. Ah, you can't go in a room unless someone's there.
シールズ。
Alright, look through the holonet to track down this mercenary of yours. She must really be something to hack diplomatic channels. Honestly, I'd love to give it a crack myself, you know. We need a car back if we're going to stop Crow Harbor, so we need to find her either way. Besides, I'm pretty sure it'd be a capital crime to let a prototype hack through diplomatic transmissions.
バカバカしい。
Be it that way, pretty sure I could crack any Pact listening device like an egg, but I guess some people are just so narrow-minded and can never let go of a stupid grudge, grumble, rumble. This mercenary is somewhat of a legend anyways. She even has a fan club. Mostly women? What's going on here? Sounds like we found her. Anyways, word is that she's somewhere on New Kowloon Station in orbit around Argaso. That narrow it down enough? It's a step in the right direction. Let me know if you find anything else. Yes, Captain. Right away, Captain, sir.
Yatta!
Hey, Captain, how you doing? Osaka.
なんすか、艦長?
Something the matter? Not really something. Just having a hard time believing any of this is happening. Just a few days ago, I was living out of a trailer in the middle of nowhere. Now I'm here captaining the flagship of the Ryuvian Kingdom. What's more, I'm now commissioned as an officer of the Ryuvian fleet by the head of state herself, which is you. Guess I'm working for you now, Osaka. Not much to look at, but I'll do what I can. Listen, Captain, I may be the queen now, but just treat me as just Osaka, okay? Spunk, move further on the first turn. Oh great, they have full-blown social links now. I didn't make you captain on the whim. This is something we've been working towards for years. I might be the head of state, but I'm leaving all decisions and tactical matters to you. I have great faith in your abilities, Captain. Really? But my track record of good tactical decisions is pretty lackluster. I mean, if I just listened to you and suspected Chigara more, we wouldn't be in this situation right now. Don't worry, the past is the past. Besides, I saw firsthand what you're capable of when you're in command of an assault carrier. There's no other person on Ryuvia Prime more suited for this job. Sad part is, if you remember Ryuvia, she's kind of telling the truth. Then I won't let you down. I'm kind on you, Captain. Now that we sell that issue, you feeling peckish for something? The ship's freshly stocked with all the goods from Ryuvia Prime. You better take it now while everything's still fresh. I recommend the Ryuvian stew, level 10 spice. Let's hope the supply chains hold up and we don't have to eat nothing but basic rations once we're out of Ryuvian space. Please, Osaka, this is a pretty big issue for me. Don't suddenly change the subject and start talking about food. I mean, food is important. I'll do my best. First, we're going to have to get the commander back on the ship, then we won't have to worry about running out of supplies. You've got that right. We need the commander back to fill out all the acquisition forms, or else the real war might take place here in the mess hall. Sounds like I'm on the clock already. Let's get to work. I can't let Osaka down. Not this time. Actually, I think I'll just grab the Insta-meal. I've got work to do. Copy. Here, take these spice packets. They really pack a punch. Thanks. injuries all healed up well?
はい。リュービアで女王陛下の医者が治療してくれた。素晴らしい技量だった。
Looks so. You look like a new woman.
館長はまだ治療を受けていないみたいだけど。
Me? Well, I don't mind looking like this.
そう。
Sorry, if the old man look is rough on your eyes.
いや、ただ、もう少し健康に気を配ってほしいと思う。
Don't worry, Sola. I'm not planning on keeling over anytime soon. Another typo?
なんでしょう、館長。
Tell me again about your war against Crow Harbor.
いいでしょう。
Given the situation, it seems prudent to review all that we know about Crow Harbor. Over 2,000 years ago, during my time, the Holy Ryuvian Empire was in the midst of a bloody civil war. Crow Harbor, the bastard son of the late Emperor, claimed the throne against my father, Raven de Ryuvia, the second prince. So one is named Crow and the other is named Raven, eh? The Emperor and first prince were assassinated with the detonation of a bomb, and my father was by law the rightful claimant to the throne. However, the Emperor had also sired Crow Harbor with a minor Ryuvian princess, and the jealous bastard son always lusted the throne. It was none other than Crow Harbor who had planted the bomb which killed the Emperor and the first prince. Or so my father claimed. But, in truth, I knew him as a man exceptional in only cruelty, and his daughter the princess was of the same ilk. She proved too cowardly to bring war upon Crow Harbor as the Shire of Ryuvia. She kidnapped me, an illegitimate daughter from the remote world of Farport, to play that role. I was baptized Sola di Ryuvia and declared the Shire of Ryuvia. In all my interactions with him, my father was a spiteful and cowardly man. I loathed him and believed that it was actually him who had planted the bomb which murdered his father and brother.
神よ。
Despite my hate for my father, though, becoming the Shire of Ryuvia was the greatest pride of my life. For the first time, I felt loved by the trillions of Ryuvian citizens who I defended. And so I gladly sacrificed my life when the moment came. We cornered Crow Harbor and his fleet in the Nimosine system. It was there that I saw an opportunity to end the Civil War once and for all. Forgot what that means, if that's memory or amnesia. It's one of those two. The flagship of the Ryuvian Empire, the Charlac, had an ultimate ability, the Final Tear. The ship could explode in a massive space-time explosion, obliterating all life within a half-light-year radius. It was a weapon which could only be used for the payment of my own life. As I activated the Final Tear, I closed my eyes and was enveloped by light, and I thought the next sight I would behold would be the infinite meadows of heaven. Yet instead, I awoke 2,000 years into the future, and the sight which awaited me was not heaven, but the face of the woman who would later become the queen of the very same Ryuvia I once served. I do not know how I was sent here, but could Crow Harbor have been transported here as well, through the same mechanism which brought me here, albeit at a later time? A difference in arrival time of only a few years seems well within the margin of error for a mechanism which could translocate us thousands of years. That is all I know of this matter. The rest is merely speculation, colored by anxiety. Right now, it helps to have every single detail straight. Thanks for going through all that again, Sola.
はい。
Of course, Captain.
聞いて。
Lest I forget, Captain, there is a certain matter. Sola, is something the matter?
そう。
Despite being assaulted by Crow's assassin drones, we know not what lies before us. Thus, I've taken upon myself to gather as much knowledge as I can regarding the lost technology from my time. Perhaps my familiarity with ancient Ryuvia can assist you in our latest quest. Sola asks you to find ancient tech. That's great news. We'll need all the help we can get.
研究開発室へようこそ。
Tell me about the
で、
prototypes.
そのことだけど。
Ever since I cut myself off from the mind stream, I've lost all contact with them. This happened over 4 years ago, so what I already told you before is the extent of what I know about the remaining prototypes. 4 years ago? So you were still connected to them for a while after I last saw you.
要するに、
After I so graciously pulled you out of the burning wreck of the Sunrider, I was held captive in a maximum security Ryuvian facility. It might be hard to believe now, but the Queen of Ryuvia wasn't always so chummy with me. Well, I guess it's only expected. She hated me just as you hate me now, Shields. Just as all of humanity hates my kind. For 2 years I felt echoes, distant rumblings in the mind stream. Something wasn't right. There was conflict between two voices, something that couldn't happen. The mind stream was always one voice. We had always been united in purpose and in mind, but... I cut a deal with Asaga. I would cut myself off from the mind stream and divulge all of the prototype's technology to Ryuvia, and she would guarantee my safety. So notice they're not consistent with the capitalization of mind stream.
それはまずい。
Because what I saw in the mind stream scared me, Shields. It scared me. More than the thought of being a prisoner for the rest of my life. More than the thought of being dissected by you humans in a lab.
良くない知らせがある。
I'm sorry, Shields. You're sorry.
あのさ、聞け。
From what I saw in the mind stream that day, whatever remained of your girlfriend's soul is completely gone. If you know what's good for you, you should forget any notion of reuniting with her again. Never cross paths with the prototypes ever again. Chigara. At least that's what I've decided. That's why I put this thing over my head. Never going to meddle in the prototype's affairs ever again. How did you win Asaka's trust?
で、そのことだけど。
That? I'm afraid that's something you humans would refer to as a long story. Trust me, back when I first arrived at Ryuvia, Asaka would have no issues with tying me up and tossing me out the nearest airlock. But she really needed a new ship built. You know, the ship you're staying on right now? And there was nobody on Ryuvia who could pull that off except me. You're really the worst, you know? Me.
だから聞け。
Listen, Shields, she hated my guts, but she was willing to set me free if it gave her a shot at getting you a new ship. And honestly, you really don't deserve that at all. You totally ignored her feelings, got googly-eyed at Chigara, and to top it off, it was you who decided to crash your ship in the first place. Don't you think you're a little... you know, never mind. Well, it was you prototypes that set me up in the first place. I figured you were going to point that out. Anyways, I suppose what changed Asaka's mind the most about me was the little quest to find the ancient fusion power stabilizer. That was a mess. Fusion power stabilizer? The FPS 9000 ACS regulates the output of the Mirei's 2 cores so that one half of the ship doesn't tear off from the other. Unfortunately, the one we had burned out centuries ago explained why the twin drives couldn't be operated at anything higher than 15% power. Luckily, we found in Ryuvia's records that another ship with the identical part was put in storage inside a Forest Moon facility halfway across the neutral rim 400 years ago. But we couldn't pinpoint its precise location. And to our great surprise when we got there, the moon populated by some really big beasts with a taste of man flesh. So they're missing a verb there. We also had a few run-ins with a certain short-statured space pirate. All in all, Saga and I had to overcome some serious trials on that moon. But somehow after we returned to Ryuvia Prime with the fusion power stabilizer in hand, we had become best friends. Sounds like you guys had quite the adventure. After that, Asaga made me an honorary Ryuvian citizen and vouched for my loyalty, and that's the only reason why I'm still alive. Only reason you're alive? There were others trying to kill you? That Fontana bastard's pinned every single evil pact. Hold on, that's not correct here. So they're missing a word here. That Fontana bastard's pinned every single pact ever committed on the monstrous prototypes and their mad leader, Alice the Imposter. Pact's practically the heroes now, while we're the prime evil. Well, I'm sure you would agree with the latter, though. My point is just that, even on Ryuvia Prime, there's a lot of people who wouldn't hesitate to put a bullet through my head if I happened to walk by on the streets. Sounds like Lynn's been through a lot these past 6 years. Can't believe I missed all of this. What were the prototypes like before the Mindstream was corrupted? I figured you'd ask me this. Ryuvian intelligence is really curious about what I knew about the prototype's leadership structure. I'm afraid it's somewhat of a moot question, though, since the prototypes of today are nothing like what I personally experienced during the early Neutral Rim War. To begin with, I was a pilot model. I was created for the purpose of flying a rider in battle. You mean the prototypes are created with specific roles in mind? I'd say so. Of course, all the prototypes are genetically enhanced with higher brain function than humans. Still, we found it more efficient to divide labor amongst ourselves, so we prototypes are born implanted with a certain set of skills based on our archetype. Some were born with knowing how to influence humans, some were born with the power to fabricate unbelievable machinery, even by our standards, and some, like me, were born to be top rider aces. So relax, Shields, I couldn't manipulate you if I tried, if it wasn't obvious enough. Since I was a pilot, though, I'm afraid I didn't really participate much in our decision-making. Still, when you're all connected in the mind stream, there was no me. We were all one. I knew that amongst prototypes, there was the Alpha, our creator, her sister Alice, the Strange. Strange. She kept her thoughts hidden to us. Now I know it was because her plan was to betray us all along. I knew nothing of her, but because Alpha had entrusted all of us to Alice, we obeyed her. So Alice was your boss, but you knew nothing about her. Alpha gave us to Alice. It was not our place to question the Alpha. We did not know who Alice was or why we were placed under her. We merely obeyed. So basically, you were just a lowly worker drone in a hive mind. I suppose you could put it that way. Did you at least know anything about the Alpha? She was our creator, our queen. Is that all? It never occurred to me to find out more when I was connected to the Mind Stream. I was already one with Alpha. From her radiated such warmth. I had no need to know more about the Alpha, as I understood from the moment I was born till the moment I cut myself off from the Mind Stream that her very existence was the only condition I needed to exist. My purpose was to fly my rider, that was all. It wasn't until after I put on this Q-jumper that I gradually started to understand what humans refer to as the Self. Another missing word. When I was a prototype, there was no me, there was only us. The thought of questioning the Alpha was inconceivable, as unnatural as questioning our own existence. So in the end, Lynn was a soldier drone in the hive mind. She doesn't know anything about where Alpha came from or of Alice's motives. Tell me, was Chigar really a spy? Shields, I really don't like speaking sweet nothings to help you sleep better at night. I just want an answer.
Oi.
The prototype you knew as Chigar was a spy model intended to infiltrate Ryuvio's government by winning the trust of the Ryuvian Princess Asaga. Spy models like her are born believing a cover story and seeded to thousands of worlds across the galaxy to become the eyes and ears of the Mind Stream. Was she snickering every night in front of a mirror, cackling how easy it was to manipulate you, Shields? Of course not. She had no clue she was even a spy in the first place. Make no mistake, whether she knew it or not, she was programmed to integrate herself into human society. She was designed to win your trust. Did it ever feel like she was surprisingly empathetic? That she understood your feelings, cared about you? I'm afraid she was created to do all that. Oh.
どうでもいい。
Spare me the long face, Shields. What would you have preferred if I said she... What? Would you have preferred if I said she was just an innocent victim of all this who had nothing to do with the prototypes? Wake up and face the facts. I was blind to the fact that Chigar was a prototype. But did she really mean for the Liberation Day massacre to occur, though? But was it your endgame for Chigar to cause the Liberation Day massacre? Why did she betray us all? Don't ask me about what the endgame was, Shields. I was just a pilot. But to answer your question, no, the Alpha was deeply perturbed by what happened. It was Alice who assumed control of Chigar and assassinated Admiral Harold Gray, triggering the escalation of the Neutral Moon War. As for why Alice would do such a thing is beyond the knowledge of the prototypes, and perhaps even Alpha herself. So in the end, the Puppet Master was always Alice. I'll talk to you later. Before you leave, Shields. Lynn?
だから聞け。
I know you don't like me, but unless we work together, the ship's good as sunk. Remember, you're absolutely not allowed to crash this one. So, Chief Engineer, Lynn's trust grows. Right.
おい。
I saw everything in the Mind Stream. I know what happened.
どうでもいい。
Silly humans and their notions of privacy. But I want you to know, I'm not her. I have this thing on top of my head. I'm not a prototype, not anymore. This kind of talk isn't really for me. Just come back here whenever you need the ship upgrade, okay? And don't forget to bring me some credits, too. Yeah. So, it looks like only... currently, only, Saga's affects gameplay, perhaps? So, first order of business, we need to upgrade the Archangel's cannon. I don't think we need the damage boost. That sucks. So yeah, I think I'll just stay in assassin mode. I don't know if we need the damage just yet. Because the Awaken's just gonna need it yet. This way I can at least try to shoot down some ships. Kinda wish I could do more with the laser, but I don't know. Oh, they also changed Usaga's gun from when I did the previous fight. So, the damage on the assault went up, but the number of shots went down, I think. I forgot what the exact numbers were, but they did something. That'd be a 5 accuracy. Overall, I think this might be worth it. Okay, so you immobilize the target for 2 turns? Oh boy. I really cannot emphasize enough how tempting this is. I can basically take 2 units out of commission. And if I stagger things correctly, it's going to be actually a little bit more because, like, I immobilize them, focus fire something down 2 for that turn, then I can do the same thing for the following one, and then pick someone off as they come back up. Yeah, for target lock, I think I'd probably want this to be cheaper. We're going for this now. I'm not too worried about her just yet, but I am worried about her. Yeah, I can't afford that anymore. This. Hold on a second. Okay, so melt armor means it's going to reduce the armor number you see up here, and thus make it easier for following it, like subsequent attacks, to do more. And I'm not gonna lie, actually, hold on a second. That's 300, but it's gonna lower it down a little bit more. So if I do this 25 and the 65, that'll come to 90. I'll have 10 points of energy to do other stuff with. Conversely, I can go for this and just try to insta-gib. Yeah, I actually need this one, I think. Actually boosts your range of all things. Is there anything I can give the Sunrider? Let's see. Front armor on this is actually... that's actually a big boost. Hold on a second. Because realistically, I'm not going to evade much with this. So, I'm thinking we go into front armor here. And accuracy here, so I can be more annoying. And they both cost 300. recruit Akari. Let's see what the other one does if we click on it. Is there like a side quest here by any chance or anything like that? And the answer is a resounding no. So she has 14 habitable worlds in her empire. In this place, class 0 guess, or maybe that was a class, not actually a quantity. If I'm going to contact Ava and Sarah, I'm going to need a security expert to scramble our transmission so we don't tip off Pack's intelligence part. My old friend Akari you sold should fit the build. According to the talk on the HoloNet, she's a regular at New Kowloon Station in orbit around Argaso. From what I was reading on the forums, apparently Phoenix still gets blown up for getting close to stuff. We'll have to see if there's anything you can do to fix that, or if there's going to be any coming changes. We're here. New Kowloon Station is dead ahead.
気をつけるといい。聞いた話では、ロソリアンマフィアが裏でこの惑星を牛耳っているらしい。やだわ。あの最低な連中じゃない。シールズ、どうやってあの傭兵の女を呼び戻すつもり？何千年も前のリュービア将軍が蘇って宇宙征服を目論んでいるなんて説明しても信じてくれなかろう。
That's a good question, actually. Ikari's not a Ryuvian like Asaga and Sola. It's gonna take a lot more to convince her that Kuro Harbor's here in our timeline. Shit, hostiles on intercept course. Red alert.
シールズ、またあったな。
She's on the bridge? Cosette, didn't you blow up back on Ryuvia?
貴様に復讐するために地獄から這い上がってきたぜ。っていうか、俺をストーキングしてるんじゃないよな。貴様はハーレムを作るために女を銀河中追いかけ回っているという噂を聞いているぞ。
Can't argue, the people on the forums have long theorized the same thing. It's just a coincidence, Cosette. I had no clue you were even here in the first place.
とにかくだ。ここであったが100年目。今日は貴様の命日だ、シールズ。
I figured as much. I knew you'd say exactly that.
野郎ども、やっちまえ。
I think we're still on cap. Yes. Close options and engage. I don't know what's up with the load screens. Hey, she brought friends. For the longest time, I didn't really think she had any. Okay, Festering Rift, Pirate Tug, 300 HP. It does have front armor, so it can withstand one shot from Sola's cannon unawakened. Those are all 250s. Millennium Flagon. Halfwit. Scarlet Shade, Tricky. Festering Rift.
一暴れすればいいよね。
8% chance.
KK!
19.
レーザーフォあっちゃー、避けられた。
Oh
何
well,
か
we
用か
tried.
シールズ。奴らのセンサーを
So
切っ
we're
た。
gonna take out Halfwit. 4%?
目覚めよ。
Let's go ahead and drift. Actually, hold on. Oh well, we tried. Seriously? Of course.
承知した。排除。ターゲット消滅。
Oh right, they only have 300, never mind.
Target lock. Target 消滅。
So there's gonna be a lot of attention on her and none of it good. Why can't this... Like, I know that it's still grayed out, but that's just such a waste, I think. Huh. I don't know how you use that. So if we drift... That may have been a 0, I wasn't really paying too much attention on that one. Okay, so that's how they work. So she did draw a little bit of aggro there, we may need to worry. That dude has a death wish. Yeah, it just fell a little short of having the energy to shoot.
俺に喧嘩を売った愚かさを骨の髄まで分からせてやる。引けてめえら。そのチンチクリンな船を落としたやつに1万クレジットをやろう。もう逃げられんぞシールズ。
様の頭を部屋に飾ってやる。
She's right about us being at a tactical disadvantage here. It's like roaches swarming out of a dumpster. We don't have to fight, Cosette. I'm not working for the Alliance anymore, and from the look of things, you're not with Pact either. There's no more money in fighting.
はあ？今さら交渉する気？貴様が恩ゲスで何をしたかもう忘れたのか？
Well, that makes one of us. I figured it was worth a try.
手伝おうか、艦長くん。なぬ。こちらフェニックス。敵軍の真後ろに到着。
Confirmed. It's good to see you again, Akari. All wings rendezvous with the Phoenix and take those pirates out.
代々一気で何ができる？皆殺しにしろ。
So yeah, we'll worry about Phoenix in a moment.
ターゲットロック。ターゲット消滅。
You're the lucky loser, I'm afraid.
排除。ターゲット消滅。 はーい、聞こえてるよ。
Can't reach. That would totally be a... It wouldn't be too bad, I guess.
うわー、痛そうだ。はーい、聞こえてるよ。
So yeah, she can actually turn pretty well.
ファイヤーとウィル。まだ敵機撃墜。
So what are you? Pirate cruiser, fearful, rascal, bell, vermin, and might.
こちらドミネーター。今度はもっとマシな指揮を期待するぞ、シールズ。奴らのセンサーを切った。やっちまえ。はい。
Boost. Melee is 300, assault, cloak.
速度をと呼べ。
So I'm hoping her evade's enough to protect her. By the way, she has a load of inertia there. You're not gonna fire your... good. You can't fire your torpedo? You don't have the energy left? Seriously, dude? He might. Yeah, that's annoying. So I'm trying to get off the collision course with Shigara. Or Lin. Not gonna waste time.
命令を。
She can actually hit these guys. If this... there needs to be a way to lower the cost on this. Time to die.
ターゲットロック。ターゲット消滅。
Why not?
狙撃開始。着弾失敗。
何をすればいい、艦長くん。
Okay, see the energy cost on this.
Engine を回せ。もっともっと行くぞ、直撃。
We'll stop there. We need to find a way to slow her down. So if I were to hit its power, I could still fire the missile.
貴様の機嫌取りなんか絶対にしないからね。
And that might have a shield generator on it.
向こうの電子装備は大変なことになってるぞ。人暴れすればいいよね。アクセル全開。ブルンブルン。
Okay, let's rotate a little more then. Well, we have a chance to chip this one. Hey, we hit! Better than I could have hoped for. You know what, I'm gonna try firing the torpedo. I think it's gonna be a waste, but why not? Okay, you made it a lot closer than I thought you would.
圧力放出中。承知した。
了解マレー。何をすればいい？加速！
アークエンジェル。
She's not gonna be able to do anything for the rest of the fight. So these two are on a collision
こちら
course.
ドミネーター。ヒーローが通るぞ。道を開けろ。やってるわよ。 敵軍システムのハッキングに成功。
91% chance. So I'll go ahead and... I'm gonna need to get the energy cost of this down so I can fire it twice in a turn. I really hate that narrow firing arc, man. Seriously, what are you doing, man? Actually, no, at this point I'd rather just disable. Nope, no shield generator.
了解なれ。何をすればいい？エンジン全開。
承知した。いいでしょう。
Nothing. She can't even hit the missiles. That's lame. Oh yeah, it's toast.
撤退だ。役立たずのクズども。今回の目的はもう達成した。
You came here for something.
ビーッ教えるわけないだろ。あばよシールズ。今度会うときは。
You'll rip my skin off and stitch it into your new pajamas, I know.
ムカつく。敵はもう撤退しているんだ。 挑発してラウンド2を始める気か？
Wait, I can feel something happening. Eternal foe, defeat Cosette to unlock new orders. I've gone pretty rusty after being out of commission for 6 years, but after that scrap with Cosette, I feel like my old skills are returning. Maybe if I keep running into her, I'll be able to improve my captaining. Another typo right there. Stand down, red alert. Looks like our pirate friend inadvertently spared us the hassle of searching around the station for our mercenary.
艦長君がここへ向かっていたことなど前から知ってたぞ。リュービアにあるパクトの基地をめちゃくちゃにしたそうじゃないか。
Word travels.
到着。ドッキング許可を。
Permission granted. See you in a bit. So unfortunately, the Archangel took a little bit of a beating there. Lost a quarter of its health. It wasn't that big of a payday there. Okay, so the repair drones actually do make it so you don't have to pay anymore. That's cool. Very good to know. Pocket carrier, huh? And the flagship of the Ruvian Kingdom. Not quite as armored as your last command, but armored to the tooth. My kind of style. Welcome aboard the Moray. It's been a while, Akari. Now I'm sure you want to know what all of this is about.
話でもしよっか。
Let me guess. It's about that ancient Ryuvian warlord who arrived from the past to take over the galaxy, right? Well, that makes the discussion a lot easier. It's already the talk of the town. Your old pal Cosette Cosmos already came to New Kowloon to find out the whereabouts of the lost Ryuvian fleet. Hell, half the town's already gone to chase after, and the other half's just arming up and hoping the first half will soften it up for him. How do you know all this? It's your turn to listen, Shields. While you were on Tidaria, a lot of shit went down. The Alliance and Pact fought a bloody war here in the Neutral Rim, leaving a lot of folks desperate. You only saw the opening year of the war. What did I miss? The Solar Alliance wanted blood after the murder of Admiral Grey. They were high from their victories ever since Farport, to the point of overconfidence. They took the entire combined fleet deep inside Pact space to take the core world of Tethra and deal the final decisive blow to Pact. But it was all a trap. There's a new Pact High Admiral by the name of Emil Kushana. You've heard of her, right? Kushana of the Many Miracles, a legend of the Compact Revolution, one of the founding members of Pact. But everyone knows she was banished to the Denari Outlands by Vanissar Arcadia, prototype Alice. Vanissar Fontana rescinded her exile after the Liberation Day massacre. He brought her back into service and made her the High Admiral of the Crimson Fleet. In return, she turned the war around for Pact. Kushana tricked the Alliance into thinking the Pact fleet was amassing at Serra, when in fact, he was hiding behind Tethra's moon. When the combined fleet warped into Tethra, they were caught entirely by surprise. The Alliance had no other choice but to attempt a long, bloody retreat out of Pact space all the way back to the Neutral Rim. She picked the combined fleet apart from every single direction the whole time it retreated. By the time it made it back to a safe harbor, you couldn't even call it a fleet. But by now, both sides had staked their national manhood to the war. The Alliance licked its wounds and rebuilt its fleets. Both sides enlisted the aid of the Neutral Rim worlds with promises of influence or flat out just bought them. Proxy wars fought by various Neutral Rim worlds with grudges against each other exploded left and right. Guess what? All that created an entire generation of young people willing to pick up a gun and blast the nearest fellow over a split drink. Or is that supposed to be spilt drink? I don't know. And then, out of nowhere, an armistice. The mighty Solar Alliance humbled and entrenched at Farport, and Pact everywhere, acting all high and mighty as the victors of the Neutral Rim War. So here's where we're at today. A bunch of bombed-out worlds and desperate people, with the few remaining Neutral Rim planetary governments struggling to maintain order in their own space. Now, let's say an ancient Ryuvian fleet just happened to appear, lost in space and time. You think people are going to be scared some ancient warlord will enslave them? Another typo? No, they just had 6 straight years of the worst hell you can imagine. All they see is the biggest collection of lost technology you can get your hands on. A treasure fleet ripe for plunder. Free money. Crow's fleet is almost like a beacon of hope for the people out here. If our last few run-ins with lost technology were any indication, I'd say more like an early grave. But that doesn't stop the desperate from trying. And Shields, everyone's here is desperate. But how did people even find out about the lost fleet? Has Crow made an attack? Scavengers searching for the leftovers of what we knew blew up in Nemosine Abyss. Happened to get a glimpse of a super dreadnought, unlike anything anyone's seen before. I've actually already met him, and the data tapes on his scanner module back him up. But really, most of the hypes come from this fortune teller who's been making the rounds around here. A fortune teller? Sounds crazy, but apparently she has a 99% success rate. Anyone who ever got their fortunes read by her swears she was always right on the money. Honestly, I think all of that's bull. But she's been forecasting wealth and glory to everyone looking to go after the lost Ryuvian fleet. She's honestly whipped the entire station into a frenzy. Can't believe people are actually dumb enough to fall for that shit. Even so, this fortune teller sounds like our best lead. After all, fortune telling is based on information gathering. I better track her down. First things first, if we're going to stop Crow Harbor, I'm going to need my old crew back, including you and the commander. What, you mean the commander's not already with you? I've been trying to reach her, but Pact has the Saren diplomatic line bugged. You suppose you can figure out a way to contact her? Sure, all you need is a quantum encryption machine so Pact won't be able to snoop on your conversation. You know where we can get our hands on something like that. Who do you think you're talking to, Cap? I've already got one right here. What, you thought I was going to send you on a fetch quest halfway across the galaxy or something? It does usually turn out along those lines. I'm a professional here. Anyways, I was just about to head out myself in search of this lost fleet myself. You don't need to be redundant there, but sure. Since we're both headed the same direction, I guess I could come along on your new ship if you want. Just give me half your share of the loot. It's not because I like you or anything, though. Don't misunderstand. Good old Akari, somehow managing to make herself look cool and cringe all at the same time. You can have all the loot you want so long as we stop Crow Harbor. Glad to have you back, Akari. So yeah, I am going to put a break here. When we pick up next time, we'll move on to the next battle, I guess. I'm the Hero of Light. Thanks for watching, and